Hello, everybody. I'm back again. I want to apologize for again not being able to get back. I wanted to get live last week. I wasn't able to. Um, I don't want to make excuses. I just wasn't able to get on, and I really wanted to. So I'm going to make a quick video now, just to. There's been something that's been on my mind, and people have written to me regarding demon possession. Um, I have to get a few things clear that I am not a pastor or anyone special whatsoever. I'm just a man, and um, the reason I'm telling you that is because I don't want anybody to think that I have some sort of powers or I'm anything at all. God is the one, and the Holy Spirit's the one that delivers people from their demons, not me. So I just wanted to make that clear up front. But for those of you that have asked me about what can be done to be set free of the demons that you have, I want to let you know, and I want to encourage you today that the fact that you can even know and recognize that you have um, a demon inside of you or demonic activity going on around you is should be encouraging to you, because if there are people that have demons that have absolutely no idea what's going on. They have no idea and believe in such things as the spiritual realm and God and the devil, and all these things. So the fact that you even know kind of sets you apart from the others that don't. And a lot of times what will end up happening is that person will end up doing something horrific to another person or people, and they just write it off as a maniac. But when the truth of it is, a lot of times it's a possessed individual. Um, I've had a tremendous response of emails asking me, what can I do? Can I deliver? Or someone, I can't do any of that. It's not about me. It's, again, I'm going to say it again, it's about God, um, the relationship that you have with God. But again, the encouraging part is the fact that you know that you have a demon inside of you. And if you truly believe that and understand that to be true, then you also understand that it's out of your control to be delivered. It's not really something in the sense of control, meaning God's going to do it when He's going to do it, but the actions that you take regarding, the desire to be set free, that's on you. Meaning, are you hungry enough to overcome? You still have to be an overcomer, because when you're fighting a real enemy, the battle is real, and it's intense, and it's hard, and it'll be the hardest thing you ever do probably in your life. I'm sure of it. So if you know that you are suffering with demon possession, um, I when I was delivered, I was suspect that I could be demon possessed, because as much as I didn't know what was necessarily going on, I knew something was definitely wrong. But again, I'll say it: if you know that you're struggling with demons or demon possessions, then don't you think your Father in heaven knows that you're dealing with that? And so He knows that you're only flesh and blood, and you can't really fight what's inside of you. So you somewhere along the way picked up legally, whether it's definitely through your actions, but it's through sin that the enemy enters into you. So along the way, he had gained legal right to enter inside of you, whether it's through unforgiveness or it could be anything. It could be if it's sin, it's sin. So, but whatever it is, I tend to think, and again, it doesn't have to be. I don't think there's necessarily, at least, laws or rules that I understand, and I certainly wouldn't dare attempt to, because I don't understand God, and if we can understand God, then He's probably not God. But um, but I would say it's probably continuous sin, or like mine was unforgiveness. So as I continue to be unforgiving and unforgiving, years on end, and I wouldn't relent from that, severing the relationship that I had with the people in my life at that time. Because of that, it gained access to me, and it had the right to, because I held that and carried that sin around with me of unforgiveness. So that's what happens. So the uh, the encouraging part is the fact that you know that you're dealing with this, and so does your Father in heaven know that you're dealing with this. So you almost have to, it's going to take trust, it's going to take faith that you are going to be able to stand when it gets hard, that you're not always going to win the battle, but at the end of the war you can win, okay? Because God has already won for us. So we just need to trust in that. The worst the enemy is going to do to you, probably the worst thing he's going to do is he's going to attempt to destroy you. Okay, so if you're crying out to the Father, Abba, and you're praying and you're reading your word and you're doing all these things to the best that you can, God in heaven knows that. He knows that you are giving it everything you have, but at the same time, he's going to take bad and use it for good. So he's going to let it go as long as he knows you can handle it. And he's going to let you actually get to the point where you can't handle it, where you're going to have to rely on him, where you're going to have to trust in him. That's the whole point. So, the quicker you get to the breaking point, the better, in a sense, because then you have no choice but to let go and let God be the ruler of your life, and the guide of your life. So again, it's not all bad. It's just that those of you that are struggling and maybe cutting yourselves, or maybe you're doing, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. It's just that you're sinning and you're out of control. We have free will. So if the enemy's doing something to you that's causing you not to be able to make a decision on your own in your right mind, then at that point, and again, there's nothing written about this necessarily that I know of, but that means that your free will's been removed from you. So if you're doing stuff that you shouldn't, and you're seeking God at the same time, and the enemy, and God knows that, and the enemy is working in your life and causing you to do things that are horrific, or at least maintaining that level of sin, what you're to do is to resist the enemy with every single bit of your being. When I say every bit, I'm talking about where you put it all in. And when that's done and you've put all of it in, and I mean every little last tear, cry, fit of emotion, whatever it is, at that point, God will step in and he will deliver you if that's what you have if that's what you desire in your heart, is to be set free. He will, in the process, more than likely at some point, may even, like it happened to me, he may ask you, do you want to be set free? Obviously, the answer is yes, because if you say no, God will allow you to keep your demons. So I just wanted to get that out there and clear. I want to be encouraging. I'm just a little tired today. I'm a little worn out. I'm a little under the weather. Just don't feel the greatest, but I'm trying to be. This is very encouraging, actually. Although I'm being a little solemn about the whole thing, I'm taking the time to come on here and let you know that it's not all hope is lost. As a matter of fact, all hope is gained, because the more you surrender, the more you let go, which means not doing it of your own self. It's freedom. There's freedom in that, because you get to step back and just let God do the work. Yeah, you've got things, turmoil going on in your life, and the enemy's work and your relatives during these times of year, and your friends, and they come at you from all these different angles, and you can't believe that they did this, and there's all kinds of stuff going on. It's not just you. I don't care what family you're in, whether you're a pastor's family, even more so. I don't care if you're co-worker, it doesn't matter. Every family has troubles and turmoil. I don't care what it looks like on the surface. You come home at the end of your day, you're absolutely just wiped out. You're wondering, I do this myself, how am I going to get through another day? Just one more day. How am I going to get through? And then I wake up the next day and I get through that day. And at the end of that day, I say, my goodness, how am I going to get through the next day? It's exhausting. Okay. the enemy will wear out the saints. Now, I don't know if that's, you know that expression in the Bible. I don't know if he's talking about the tribulation or right now or both, but either way, that statement rings true from the Bible, that Satan will attempt to wear out the saints. We're the saints, people. And I know from reading, I watch a lot of videos and read a lot of blogs, and there's people are tired. Um, One thing I also noticed, and I don't want to get into it a lot now, but I'm going to talk about it later, is, and I'm going to end it here, but I want to talk about this later at another video or even a live stream. I'm going to be apprehensive to talk about live streams because I don't want to let anybody down, and I feel like I have. So I'm feeling pretty bad about that. So I don't want to talk about live streams yet, but I at least try to make some videos here and there when I can. Live streams are a little bit more difficult to pull off here. So I do want to talk about the relationship, and I'm going to kind of throw this out there, and I'd love to hear your replies, but I don't want to get into it right now. I want to make a separate video on it. I'd like to talk about how in the days of Noah, it will, like today, was referred to in the Bible as the end, when the Lord returns, how it'll be as in the days of Noah, where they'll be taking in marriage, and it'll be just another day when the Lord returns. It'll be an unexpected day that that you would not expect him to come on. And that means to me that there's not going to be utmost turmoil in the world, meaning that the economy had not completely collapsed, or an earthquake didn't split the United States in half, or anything like that. It's a day like today, like right now. Hopefully, if you're watching this video, it's just like a day like today on a Sunday afternoon. But if that's the case, I also watch the economy pretty closely, the stock markets and the bond markets and all the different. I've been watching it for over 20 years, and I was one that was very vocal in 2007, calling out the crash that was coming. Most people had no clue, and my friends and family were pretty upset with me because I was calling it to the month. I was calling it like I saw it coming, and it did. It happened just like I said, and so in hindsight, I see things getting pretty bad right now. I see things of magnitude manyfold worse than what was in 2008. But my point was, when the third horse, the rider of the horse comes in, he's holding a pair of scales in his hand, and those scales represent economic collapse, failure, difficulties, to buy, a day's wages for a day's food, that kind of thing. So there's difficulty coming economically. So according to the way that the horses come in, Jesus Christ returns, in my belief, again, my pre-tribulation belief, that the Jesus Christ returns before the horses come. My dilemma, or my pondering dilemma, is that if the horses are the economic collapse, the third horse, okay, which I feel is very, very close, how much closer is Jesus? That means Jesus will come when there's a normal time, before an economic collapse, which is the third horse of Revelation. Okay? So that means Jesus has to come. And if our economy is almost collapsing, I see it now collapsing. It started in the bond market, and it's inverting and all, et cetera, et cetera. Then how close is Jesus to us? Because Jesus will come, then those things will come to pass. So with the temple and the red heifer in Israel, if you've heard of any of that, there's a lot of things moving forward. And the reason I mention that is because that's encouraging. It's very, very encouraging to talk about Jesus' return. If you don't look forward to Jesus' return, you might want to evaluate your walk with him. If you're more concerned about, oh my goodness, I'm going to I won't get my house, or I won't have my cars anymore, or what about my job, or even your family, to that degree, in the sense of if they're saved. If they're lost, I can understand grieving because it's difficult, because they may, they're not going to make it. So at least, from where they are right now. So, but you should have a desire for him to come. As a matter of fact, that's one of the crowns, is to looking forward to his coming. And you should be witnessing to people. That's another crown. There's different, look up the crowns. If you don't know them, check out the crowns in the Bible. That's a Bible study all unto itself, but be encouraged that this is exciting. I like I said, I can name the names of the people that you watch and we both watch. They're out there in the YouTube world, and I take some with a grain of salt, and others I take a little bit more seriously. But the bottom line is, that we're very close to something. It doesn't matter when the exact day is, and I don't care about that because people get caught up on the exact day and hour, and then I'll hear somebody say, I'm not proclaiming the date. I hear it all the time because they're so scared to be chopped down, which they have been, about claiming a date. And somebody falsely gets on and said, he said X, Y, and Z date, and that's it. I don't care about that. I don't care about the date. But I would care if it was 10 years down the road because I really am tired and I really have been watching this since about 1981, paying attention. So I'm a bit tired. It's a little bit, I've been watching this for a little while, but I do know he's coming. And if he doesn't, then he doesn't. And one day we all close our eyes and then we end up before him anyway. So either way, it's encouraging. So that's what's important at the end of the day. What's important is spreading the gospel, sharing the good news to people that you work with, your family, everybody, strangers, complete strangers, someone that has no money on the side of the road, give them money and talk to them for 5 minutes instead of just hand them some cash and roll. This is really important because at the end of the day, this is what God's going to look at. And it's going to account, it's going to get put on account for you for eternity. So this is really important. And I know I beat and stress that point up, but I have to just continue to say it, and I will every single time I get on here because it's the most important thing we can do is share the gospel with people. So again, I'm very upbeat. I'm a little tired today, but I squeezed. I definitely want to get a video in. I've got a busy day today, and I wanted to get this taken care of first and foremost before I really get that rolling. I hope you're all doing well. I care so much for all of you. I don't know you personally, but I read your comments, and I just can tell that you're very sincere people out there that are watching my videos, and I hope anything that I do here would honor God and would help you in your walk. So, with that, I'll let it go. I won't want to make promises because I can't hold them like I'd like to. So I'm going to try to make another video next weekend. Shouldn't be a problem just making the video for 15 minutes. I should be able to do that. And then if you have any comments or anything, again, that you want to address with me, please put it in the comments. I try my best. It's hard again for me to comment even because I have to change it. It's a bit of a process on my end to do that. But I think I reply to everybody that sends me anything for the most part. If you look, you can always email me at selfishnomore at outlook.com. And then also if you want to leave a comment or if you want to talk about something or you want to ask me something and you want me to go a little more general with it, we can do that. So, or I can do that. So it's good seeing you all again. I hope you have a great week, and hopefully there is no weekend next week because we're not here. We're up with God in heaven. So God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.